Hey guys, what is up? Here with a movie review. Spring break's finally here, so I have some time to catch up. And I'm going to start off my review with... Hold on a minute. Supposedly it's a new horror film, though seriously, from what I probably saw in the movie, it's not exactly a horror film. The Witch. The directorial debut of Robert Eggers, who also wrote the film, stars Anya Taylor-Joy, Ralph Ineson, Kate Dickie, Harvey Scrimshaw, Ellie Granger, Lucas Dawson. Who else is in it? Other people. And what this movie is about a Puritan family. It's in the 1600s in New England. A Puritan family is excommunicated. Is that right? Excommunicated from a New England plantation. They're forced to start a new life on a small farm near a forest. And one day, this is the beginning of the movie, so this really isn't a spoiler. Like, on the beginning of the movie, one of the family members, a baby, gets captured by a witch. And following that, it's a bit of, some circumstances, that end up tearing the family apart. There's some supernatural circumstances. And one of my favorite horror movies of the year is born. I'm going to leave it at that because there's just not much I don't want to spoil too much. I kind of spoiled a little bit of the movie, but there is another part that follows that I ain't going to spoil at all because it's one of my favorite scenes in the entire movie. And, yeah. Now, I was really excited for this movie because of the praise it was getting. It was at the Sundance Film Festival. It got a lot of acclaim. It won the directing prize for the U.S. Dramatic category, I believe, at the Sundance Film Festival. And it also was nominated for, But I mean, yeah, Robert Eggers won directing, and I can definitely see why. This is a very well-made horror film. This really isn't a horror film, in all honesty. I would have to agree with with Mariana, creator from the channel Impression Blend, that it's really a period piece with horror elements. I didn't see the trailer. I still haven't. I didn't think about seeing it, and yeah, maybe it's misleading because they don't know how to sell these horror films anymore because they don't know how to sell them as the movies they are, rather than just do the same generic marketing campaign. Because, yeah. Bullshit. One thing I love the most about this movie is the use. It's inspired by old folktale New England 1600s, and I like that. Also, this is probably the best horror film I've seen since The Babadook, and that came out when? Oh, that's right, 2014. Wow, we waited 2 years. Well, almost 2 years, I guess, because Babadook came out late in 2014, but you get the deal. Wow, I waited a long time. Wow, I waited a while for that. We need more great horror films. Are we gonna get more this year? Maybe. Not too sure, but there's a possibility of that. Now, let's talk about this. This is very layered. See, one thing I like about The Babadook is that it's a very layered movie. The horror is not cheap horror like jump scares or dumb characters or stereotypical characters. Basically, these throwaway characters, you just expect them to die. It's not like that. Babadook's very layered, and so is the Witch. The Witch really is the Witch is not really a main focus in the movie. The Witch is an actual antagonist, but not the main focus. Kind of more of one of elements to one of the bigger things about this movie involving, such as a family being torn apart, a family struggling to survive. Because they're away from society. They were excommunicated, so they really have no one else outside of the fort. They really don't have a lot. They're kind of separated from civilization, so they don't really have anyone to turn to, and they don't really have a lot going with them. Seriously, they're living on hard times. They're struggling to live, and with this witch, and knowing the fact the forest is from them a cursed place, this is exactly where it leads to a lot of difficulty. This just leads to them really struggling. This family, they also kind of do hunting sometimes, and also they're just struggling. The mom is there's there's 5 kids when you include the baby, but that baby's gone in the beginning of the movie. There's also a father and a mother. The mother is torn apart, obviously. See, as these supernatural occurrences and after all these tragedies that hit the family come towards, it really starts tearing the family apart, and all culminates together as a film that just really builds the atmosphere. This is a horror film that has no jump scares. There's times where I almost felt like maybe they're lying to me. Maybe these reviewers are lying to me so that I would get in my seat and then of course be disappointed. No, they're being honest. There's no jump scares at all in this movie. You almost feel like there is because here's what they do. Sometimes it cuts to silent. Sometimes it cuts to silent, but really it's just building atmosphere, and it's only built for building suspense. Sometimes sometimes the music would just like get gradually louder, and that's just really signal, some signal like something terrifying happening or something very horrifying happening, something really just terrible happening. I don't know if I'd say horrifying. This film's not exactly what I call scary, more of suspenseful and unsettling. Sometimes it would also cut to black, and the music would just stop whenever like there's building music, and that was very effective use of style. The use of the setting's also very good. I really like the setting. I mean, the only fact they're isolated from civilization, they have nowhere to turn to, they're struggling. Seriously, they have no real connections to like the outside world, or they just don't really have right communication outside world. They're just struggling because I mean they're not experienced in stuff like this. They're struggling. Their crops are failing, and also the fact is they constantly pray to God. This movie has a lot of like themes involving like religion, family, like loyalty. That's where I think this movie is very layered. It has themes like these and explores them such as religion, sin, loyalty, family. Maybe even survival, I guess. Though I consider it more, but that's not really much of that. Really more of like religion, loyalty, family. That's what I think is really, or those are the themes of this where I think this movie really succeeds. And it also, the characters are well developed. None of these characters are stupid or anything. There is like one scene where I swear I think some people were complaining, oh, this kid is stupid. But I can't really do that without spoiling it. And I don't know, maybe I'll either I'm going to do a spoiler review or I'm going to wait until I give my final do kind of what Chris Suckman did and some reviews on YouTube have done. So just give their final grade and then do spoilers. We'll wait and see. Because I'm just getting started with this. The characters are well developed. You buy them as a family. They're a family just struggling to live together, and also they really are being torn apart by the situations occurring to them. And this is effective. The movie also has a very dull color palette, and I can see this being a problem because, yeah, it looks dull and depressing. There's no personality to it. For me, it's an effective stylistic choice because, to be honest, it fits the atmosphere. It fits the mood of the movie. And this movie relies on tension and atmosphere, not jump scares, which is a thank God because that's the cheapest way to totally scare somebody. But they don't. They actually use a lot of creepy imagery and a lot of they use some gore. It's not an excessive use. Sometimes they have it at some points. And there's just a lot of situations that just left me so unsettled. It just sometimes it sent chills on my back. Other times I just kind of cringed. If you've seen the movie, you may know some of the scenes I'm talking about. I don't really want to spoil any of them, but yeah, it's actually very unnerving for me. The acting's very good. I really did like everyone involved. The family is believable, but also the characters are well developed as well. Hold on a minute. Let me get out my iPad. Anya Taylor-Joy. She plays the oldest daughter, Thomason. She's very good. I mean, you see a woman that's just. I mean, there's a lot of shit that happens surrounding her, and also she suffers a lot, and even like at the ending, she just really. Oh, Jesus Christ. It's hard for me to really explain it. It's really hard for me to explain, so I'm spoiling it. But I mean, everyone's cast is great. They're all very well-developed characters. They're all very fleshed out, very well fleshed out characters. Of course, Ralph Ineson's very good. There actually is one scene where it's a very emotional scene. I feel like that's devotion. Very heartbreaking. Just seeing this guy, just like he prays to God for help. It really is hard to talk about this movie. The cinematography is also very good. There's a lot of tracking shots, and and they're well shot. There's a lot of good tracking shots. Of course, that is an effective choice of building atmosphere and also making the tension really creep up on you. It works effectively, and I thought it really worked very well. The Witch, not really in the movie that much, but I think that's it's kind of like an idea. There's a lot of imagery involving the witch. Also, a rabbit. I can't really figure that out. It's really hard for me to completely understand it. Katie Dickey, who plays this woman named Catherine. I think that's who she is. Yes, Catherine, like she's the mother. she really like, you know, she's great in the emotional scenes. You know, seeing her becoming devastated over certain things. Really, I mean, you really just feel for this character. You feel like Jesus, man. You know, it really just hurts to see her. It just really hurts seeing her go through it. And it's also seeing where she goes, and just a few scenes where she goes insane, and those scenes just left me uncomfortable. Especially one. If you've seen the movie, you know that scene I'm talking about. Jesus, it left me so disturbed as hell. And seriously, there are several. I'm just thinking, what the hell's going on? This movie's extremely unpredictable as well. I had no idea where it was going at points. It really was. Eesh. They actually made a goat. Kind of scary. Oh, damn it. I don't know if I'd say scary, but there's actually a scene where they actually made a goat. Actually, threatening in my opinion. And that's really effective to me. I was really surprised. I'm thinking, what the hell? They actually made it... Seriously, I was actually scared by a goat. I don't know, I mean... Yeah. Sorry. The goat's actually named Black Phillip, and that character was actually really cool. So there is something that they do with that with Black Phillip that I will not spoil. And that made up... And that was a very, that really surprised me. I mean, seriously, this movie is very unpredictable, and I don't know much about the folklore, so maybe I probably have to do some research into it, look more into some of these old folk tales, and, you know, just look more into this. I don't know. Also, the kid actors are very good. There's a little boy in the movie. He's, very... I mean, like, there's, like, two very, very small kids, and they're very good. I mean, there's a little boy... I mean, there's, like, also, like, a very little boy who kind of is, like, it's kind of hit and miss with his lines. I don't know, maybe like a bit hit and miss. Mostly, I just think he's overall very good. There's also like a little girl. Yeah, very good. There's actually a scene between her and Anya Taylor-Joy that actually really showcased. I thought was very effective. Really showcased. Really was probably one of my favorite, one of the best, probably one of my favorite moments with Anya Taylor-Joy. Seriously, that was very good. The use of setting is all. The production design is also really good. It doesn't look cheap. You really buy it as a. You know, it's an actual farm area. You buy it. There is a lot, it's hard to really say things without spoiling it, and I don't really want to spoil it anymore. I wouldn't say it's particularly scary, but it's very uncomfortable and suspenseful. Also, the ending is very effective. It actually works. It actually really left me a little bit creeped out. I mean, this movie is very creepy. It doesn't fail in delivering horror elements. This really is a layered horror movie. I loved it. I mean, I loved it. It's unnerving, but also it's a very layered horror movie. It's very mature, respects its audience. It's refreshing to see horror films like this that actually are well made. That has some thought-provoking themes involving, of course, religion, family, loyalty. You get the idea. I already said that so many times. It doesn't rely on heavy gore. It tells a strong story with well-developed characters, a realistic family dynamic, and it seriously works. It has a strong atmosphere, lots of good tension, but also it worked. And the ending for me was also very satisfying. It's hard to spoil this movie, people, but one thing is for sure, it delivered. It delivered on its stuff. It's a very unnerving film. It's also layered. There's a lot more. Robert Eggers, I want to see more of this guy. Give me more, man. You really offer a lot more in the horror genre. I mean, this guy, he delivers on a good atmosphere, but also he gives us characters I'm engaged in. Story I'm engaged in, characters I want to watch on screen. They're not stupid. They're realistic. They're believable characters. That's one thing I also liked. I can't say anything else. It works so effectively as a horror film. It's hard for me not to spoil this movie, to talk about it. That's why I love it. That's what's so great about it. There's so much to talk about, but it's just hard for me to do it without spoiling it. Now, I know some people may be disappointed by this movie, and that's understandable. It is a slow movie. If I have any real problems with it, I don't know. The pacing for me is fine. It is slow-paced,
but it never really bothered me, in all honesty. There's nothing that really, I'm being honest, it never really bothered me. I'll tell you one thing, it really was an unpredictable horror film. I really had no idea where it was going at points, and I really liked that. That's very commendable. I want to see more of Robert Eggers. I want to see more of the cast here. This is a pretty good ensemble cast. Really, 2 little kids actually doing very good. The little girl being the best. The little boy, overall, I thought he was actually pretty good. The music really adds to the atmosphere. I mean, music should really add something to the film, and it did. I mean, seriously, there's a lot of unerring ideas, and the use of like these old folklore elements really helped. Really made this movie very unique and stand out. Very unique. I wouldn't say it's like one of a kind. I mean, we're probably gonna see movies like this again at some point in our lives. Maybe we've seen it before, but it's nice seeing something like this, and it's nice seeing a good horror film for once. Guys, go check this movie out. I hope you give it a shot. Just remember, it's not really what I call scary, but it is very unnerving, and it might leave you very uncomfortable. But for me, it works. It works. It's smart. It's layered. It's thought-provoking at points. It has very unique imagery. And overall, it works as a horror film. The Witch gets a 5 out of 5. I loved it, people. Yeah. Seeing this family just fall apart is heartbreaking. I'm invested in the story and I just want to see them pull through, and also, it's understandable what happens to them. It's understandable. If you know, like, you do your research on the folklore and also on certain aspects, maybe on Puritans and all that, you understand it and it works. Like, it makes sense. It actually really does. It's a very well-made horror film. It's well written, well acted. Overall, I thought it was great. I loved it. Anyways, guys, my review for The Witch, comment below. What did you think about it? Were you disappointed by it? Did you actually like it? Did you like it better than Babadook? Do you think it's as good or not as, or inferior? I have nothing else. I'm excited for The Conjuring 2. I'm trying to think maybe some horror-themed questions. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe to the channel for more videos. Okay, I also decided to do some additions to my Witch review. I also mentioned that this could be another concern, is that they do speak in this dialect from that time period, and sometimes it can be hard to understand what they're saying. Sometimes it's a little hard. Sometimes I found it a little hard, but overall I got the gist of what they were talking about, so it never really bothered me that much. That's just a concern because they do speak in the dialect from that time period, so you may have problems understanding them. Me, I got the context of what they were talking about, so it never really was a problem for me. And also, there's a lot. Also, the concept. I mean, the imagery is great, and the concepts are great as well. So, yeah, that's just not a concern. But yeah, just remember that. Just if that's gonna be a problem going in, or if that's gonna be a problem for you, then I don't know. You should be watching this. I would still watch it though, but whatever. We need more horror films like this. We do. Now I'm done.